1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Allez
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 1, 1, 1.
Okay.
So it's a good warm-up, you know?
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Muprov Musings. I'm one of your hosts, Hal Munger, and we've got no other host tonight because it is another episode of Hal's Adventures. I am here with two incredible improv directors, fresh off directing one of the most amazing improv shows that I've ever seen.
Wow.
So joining us now on the podcast are Aymeric Desjardin and Charlotte Méniére.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you got it right. After 5 rehearsals, you got it.
Okay. Welcome. I just would love to understand how you became improvisers, like who you are as improvisers, and what improv sort of means to you.
Okay. So, Aymeric, maybe you start?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be like the longest because I started improv maybe 11 years ago. I became professional slowly after, but it took time, like you get one contract and another and another. So we are both from Bordeaux in France, and we are drinking red wine during this interview, which is from Germany actually. And I don't know. Yeah, what improv means to me, it's my life, my job, and it's also, I think I will talk about that later, but it's also for me a new meaning of life, a new political reason to stay alive. But I guess that's gonna be one of the topic around Festen and stuff.
Yeah, so I was like a baby improvisator because I first did it like when I was 12.
Oh.
And I stopped at 17, maybe something. And after that, I had a long period without improv. And I was like, I feel that something is missing in my life because improv really helped me to communicate and listen and also to laugh out loud because this is like a fun experience too. And so now it's been like almost 3 years that I'm coming back in the improv scene. And so I met Aymeric. And the first years redoing improv was like so much fun. And after it was like, yeah, but improv has really a potential to speak about things that we don't usually speak about. So that's why it became more and more interesting.
Mm-hmm. And how was it your individual initiatives to start pushing the play in that direction? Did you start off in comedy improv, or did you join an existing community that was doing this kind of artistic work?
Both. I think like in France, when you start improv, 99% of the time you start with what we call the match, which is like this weird French-speaking format. And then you often do something else. And I think myself, I'm in a group that specialized in something else for 6 or 7 years. And that's the one that Charlotte joined when she started improv back. So it's been a while since we didn't do, at least for myself, since I didn't do match and stuff like this. And but for like the format you created and stuff that once again we are gonna talk about, I guess. This is our own creation. I was gonna say the creation of our theater that we created. Yeah, it's on me. Sorry.
Well, then let's get straight into that. What is that creation, and how did you come about starting it? Where did the idea begin?
Our theater?
I meant the specific show for Festen.
This specific show, okay. Because I think the both are like pretty joined, because we wouldn't have been able to do this show if we didn't have our theater. Because so the theater we created, like mostly Aymeric, but I joined after, is about like some strong values. Like in improv, as you say, it's mostly like laughing and doing like improv that are politically correct and just like casual, like, you know, not speaking about subjects that touch people or everything. Like, it's meant to be funny. And so when we created this theater, we wanted to talk about like more deep subject, and that's how he came up with the idea from Festen, because he also were in a theater before, but like more not improv, like a normal theater. And he studied Festen as the real movie. And he came up with the idea that to do it in improv too, but he's gonna speak more about it.
Yeah, I think I kind of disagree, like about the fact that improv is often comedy, so we wanted to do something more political. I think like everybody says that, and that's not like there is already people and theaters who do what we are doing. It's not like we are a revolution in the world.
Yeah, no.
It's more, to be fair, it's more a personal and egoistic reason that led me actually to create this theater. It was more, if I go into detail, but so I was teaching and doing improv, and that was my job. And like maybe 2 years ago, I started to have huge panic attacks and anxiety trouble. I had to take pills and stuff like that, and it was mostly an existential problem, a philosophical problem of what the hell am I doing with my life, you know? And if there is one word that we have to keep from this, it's more like I was looking for the meaning of what I was doing. Why am I doing this? And so first I thought that it was about independence. So that's why I created this theater. Like, I quit all my jobs. I kept the clients, and I created my own stuff. But then I realized that it was actually about telling something on stage. And like, personally, I couldn't spend my whole life making comedy shows and just like playing, making a joke in front of 30 people and go to bed and do the same every day. I philosophically couldn't, you know. At least that's what I met. So I honestly think it was really more egoist than what you might think.
I don't think it's egoist, because if it were, we wouldn't have joined like the cast and the theater about this show. And because obviously this is a subject we don't really often talk about on the scene, on the show and everything. And so it was meaningful, even more for Aymeric, but for every person that see the show and wanted to be involved in the show, because it's hard subjects that we want to show. So if we show them, people will recognize themselves in it and maybe feel something, a relief about it.
For those who don't know, like Festen is about rape culture and sexual assaults in families.
Yeah. And the show that we saw was masterfully done, and the acting was superb, and people were, they took the topic very seriously, and they did it really well. I'm wondering, when you started doing this, how did you build up to that point in a safe way and get it so that you were not like making, you know, you were giving the topic the degree of professionalism that it deserves?
Yeah.
I think that for this kind of topic, what you actually need is simply you know, like maybe it's a French expression.
Being
you know,
a
when
good
you have
person
a
at
spine,
first.
the spine in the body, it's like you have to know what you are doing. You have to have read books about it, to have like to know the topics you're using. And then when I directed during Impro Amsterdam, for instance, we had only 3 hours rehearsal, and most of it was about the mechanisms in rape culture as sociologists and scientists proved it and discovered it. So it was really about making sure that you are educated, like you know what you are talking about, and then transmit it to your cast, and then your cast transmit it to the audience.
Wow. So for the 3-hour rehearsal to prepare for the show, most of the time was spent in educational mode and learning about the topic. Did you do scene work, or how did you?
It was only scene work, but like
I see.
like I said, now we are going to work. Let's say I give you the revelation, so you don't have to do the first part, and we are going to work on this kind of reactions to rape culture, or this one, and then they played it, they tried it. And by that they learned it, and they saw that in 1 hour they had to. Yeah, I'm doing like quotes, but you don't see them because this is a podcast. But like they had to put them all in the right order, kind of.
Because they had to put themselves in like the skin of monsters, like not really monsters because there are monsters everywhere, but the show is about also when you know that something really bad happened, but you don't want to talk about it because you're like you just hear, you saw the thing, but you don't know how to talk about it, so you won't talk about it. And
No, sorry, I was just doing a parenthesis, but I feel like maybe we are not giving context enough for people. Like, to be basic, the show is about a family dinner, 1 hour, and there is one person who was gonna call out another one about something terrible that happened to him or her. And then during 1 hour, we will see the victim blaming, the domination of the father figure, and stuff like that, until at the end the victim wins.
All of it during a family dinner.
Yeah. So sorry.
And have you both of you played in the show at various points?
Never.
No, neither.
No.
But we worked so hard on it.
Yes.
It feels the same. Like we did a premiere in France, and we were like stressing out because we were at the back and like, oh my God, and everything. And so the second time here, it was the same thing. So it felt like we were playing ourselves because it was so like, it took so much energy into the show.
Yeah, and it's not what I wanted when I created this theater. It was about, I have good ideas, I hope. I do a casting, I have my actors, and then I do all the rest of the production, like be sure that the blah, 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 the renting a place, etc., etc. And they come and they play after I taught them how to play, and everybody's happy. But I've never even thought about playing in my shows, like not this year at least. It's really not the plan.
Yeah.
I more enjoy like just running everywhere in the theater saying, yeah, it begins in 3 minutes, blah, blah, blah. And it's more of my role today.
I'm wondering, for the people that you've spoken to in the cast, after the show, how have they spoken to you about how it felt to play in the show? And then what do you think your responsibility is to the members of the cast? And how do you make sure everyone is safe and doesn't have something?
It's hard to talk instead of them. I cannot say like, they were super happy, but I think they were super happy.
Yeah,
at least that's what they told me.
In fact, everyone told us that they were super happy. But
yes.
It's true that we didn't have like time after to make them sort of going out of the character or taking care of themselves, because the festival is like this. You have really a few time to go speak to the cast after the show and everything, and they want to go out, they want to drink, and they want to smoke. So we didn't really had like the time to do a real care about them and make them like, you did really something amazing by playing monsters, but now you're gonna have to go out of the characters and take care of yourself. We didn't have this time, but the happy thing is like that many of them are at the same hotel as we are. So we did like 2 hours after, but we still did it. Like,
Yeah, it's more something that we did before. Like even after the rehearsal, we kind of spent the day talking about with them individually to be sure that they are fine, etc. And after the show, I mean, it's after the show. Everybody is laughing like, yeah, ha ha ha, woohoo, and
but the energy was really high and really good. So we were really happy about it, and everyone was really happy about it, even though some people of the cast they didn't really knew what the show was about. So it was like a strong challenge for them to do the show, because as the silly French we were, we arrived and we saw that everyone knew exactly what they were going to speak about and what they were going to play.
Yeah, that they had
but in
chosen
fact,
it.
only maybe the half of the cast was aware of what we were going to speak about. So at first there were like a big misunderstanding about that. So it was really, really quite an awkward moment, even for us. Like we were like, okay, and we didn't know that they didn't choose to be in this show until 1 hour of the rehearsal.
Wow. Well, it speaks to how you were able to get all 10 of them to feel like comfortable and like, it was such a powerful performance, and everyone seemed so confident in their boundaries, and it was a beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah, and I think once again it's because of the spine that I had, like of how sure and confident I was about this. Like at the first hour of rehearsal, everybody wanted to kill me because I had I thought I chose the show.
It was really
and
even
like
more
it's
tense.
Also my fault in a way, because I had a lot of mails with the organization who told me to be careful about the boundaries of the actors, but I thought that the actors, because of that, knew what they were gonna do. So there was this huge misunderstanding she was talking about, and it was really hard to reverse it. But I think I got them just when I proved that I was not just some tourist talking about sex. I was an activist talking about sexual violence and child abuse. And when they understood that, they really wanted to do this show because it was political.
Yeah. What are the impacts that you're hoping the show will have on like an audience who comes to see it?
No, that's it's a fun question, because there were two really different reactions in France and in Amsterdam. In France, the audience was really aware of what was going to happen, and so they really saw it as a dramatic show. And so I think they were more like like for men and stuff like that, were more focused on how good it was artistically. And most of the people who came to see us after were more like women and people who had been victims of this kind of thing. And in Amsterdam, there was a lot of laughter, you know.
Outsider, you mean?
No, laughing, like ha 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 ha. Laughing,
Okay.
it's a horrible word. But there was a lot of laughter during the show, and so I talked to people about that, and they felt more about I felt guilty of laughing and stuff during the show.
I have to discharge myself by laughing because the situation was so tense.
But we had more like testimonies of men that like laughed and then realized, oh. And I think, I'm not saying that we just solved the world issues in one show, but
No, obviously not.
I think we're at least like saying the good thing, transmitting the good things. It's not like we're gonna change the world, but that's the best we can do.
Yeah, but it was like really important for us to have all those feedbacks because also women came to us and told us that it was really important to show the show and to be so detailed about how it happened, like when someone is culprit and when someone is a victim. But the thing is that we are not trying to speak to people who are really culprit or people who are really victims, but the people that knew all along and didn't do anything. Like the show is showing because the long table and everything, there is many family people, but they didn't really know, or even if they had proof, they wouldn't like care about them because they were so convinced that this
Couldn't
man
be true.
or woman couldn't be someone like that. It couldn't be a monster. So, but it's talking about the fact that if you are like validating those things, even though you're not completely aware, but you are like shutting down the victim, it makes you like an actor of it. And because the audience laughed a lot, they were in the show in a moment.
Which is something that
they were validating the thing.
Which is something that personally I hate in improv or in theater, like implicating the audience was absolutely never my plan.
It was not plain, but it happened, you know?
Yeah, I hate to make the audience feel guilty about something. I think it's like a really cheap way to send messages. But that's what happened. So
because during the rehearsal, we were trying to work on the group effect. Like, you know, if someone laughs, everyone laughs. See someone is ignoring someone else, everybody ignore. So we were trying on that. We were working on that. But during the show, the actors didn't really have to do it because the audience was already doing it.
Yeah. The audience was the group and it was terrifying.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So it was a lot of psycho.
No, sorry, just to come back to the really first question because we are just talking a lot because we are drinking wine. But about the reception of the audience and stuff, it's once again like two separate things between what you really hope that your audience will get and, as I was saying before, and I'm still gonna stick to this word, just the meaning of what you're doing. And once again, maybe more egoist reasons, but I know that I'm at first doing it because I feel better when I do this, you know, because I, as myself, I feel better. I'm not having like huge anxiety when people thank me for my work and say that it's important. It's like a really personal and self-focused reason. And it's both. It's not just about, I'm what the audience thinks and stuff. Like I'm also doing it for like really personal meanings. And why I'm saying that is not to say that I'm a horrible person. It's to convince you, if you're listening to me, that it all begins with also personal on these personal wills. Like just if you want to speak out loud, you will realize that you actually don't really care about if everybody in the room listen to you or not. Like you just feel better, and it's nice to feel better.
Yeah,
it's Camusian. Albert Camus say like life is fighting, and I'm gonna lose myself if I
Yeah.
start talking about philosophy. I would love to, but I don't know how long this podcast is supposed to be, and I should stop right now.
Yeah, I think we are coming close to the time. But I
Oh shit!
did want to.
I had so much things to say.
Well, we can also continue outside. I'm happy to have this be. We've done podcast episodes that were 90 minutes or longer. If you want to continue the adventure outdoors.
I mean, we still have like a full bottle of wine, so.
Okay, so we can perhaps maybe take a break right here and then move outdoors, and so there'll be a little bit of wind in the second half of this podcast. We'll be back in a moment.
Gros bisous.
Yay! Okay. We are back. We're now outdoors. This is the first warm night of the festival. Oh, by the way, I should have said at the top, this adventure is taking place in Impro Amsterdam. So we're right outside the Zonhuis. There are shows going on right now, but thank you guys so much for missing them to do this interview. It makes me so happy. But the next question I wanted to ask was, so there is a movie of Festen that people can go out and see. Yep. It's scripted. It tells a similar message to what you're trying to say. What do you think is powerful about using impro as the medium for this activism? And obviously there are some downsides to using impro. What do you think are the counteracting upsides?
Can I answer this one?
Yeah.
Because so it was my idea to create Festen in improv. And at first, honestly, at first it was just like an idea like this, and the more I was working on, the more I thought that it was really powerful in improv, because the power of the movie, who's like 98 and it's still really modern. It's filmed like if it was a video from someone in the party. Like it's really one camera. And it's what they called the Dogma 95. It was really about realism and no effects at all. And when I played it on stage in real theater, it was nice, but it was scripted. So the dialogues were not as realistic as improv can do. And I really felt that doing improv, and also like I put an artistic direction where there is no lights, no music, no little improvisers effects like, oh, I'm gonna do a flashback in front of the stage, what we do in long forms. I forbade all that. I wanted to do the purest form of improv and the most realistic as possible. And it really creates, I think, the effect that the Dogma 95, like that the movie cinema school of the movie Festen wanted to create, which was it is a real thing. It is not like something that will happen to characters. It's something that happened to your friends, to your family, to your sisters, to your mothers, to everyone like everybody has a story about rape culture. So that's why we wanted to transmit it.
Also, as a viewer, you're involved in the story because you're a viewer also as the other characters. So that's why we wanted to do it as improv also. Yeah.
Do you were exploring psychological kind of effects and like having the group behave as a group. I was wondering if from the player's experience, once they're like fully in a character like this, they start behaving in ways that are kind of unexpected to them or that they feel guilty about later, do you think that something is captured by having live people actually feeling the feelings and noticing the shame of all the people looking at them and all of
Such a tough question.
I don't get the question. I didn't understand what.
It's like est-ce que ça leur par rapport aux acteurs, par rapport au cast, est-ce que genre on a dû en gros, est-ce que eux ils ont réalisé à un moment que en fait ils se rendaient compte que genre ça les mettait face à des comportements qu'ils avaient déjà eu eux-mêmes.
Maybe another way of saying it is just, is any of it kind of real? I feel like sometimes I've played in shows like we did some realistic horror shows, and when I was like a killer in that mode, it had an effect on my body in a way where I was like, whoa, this I'm doing things that I wouldn't normally do in my day-to-day life and kind of playing in a way that I wouldn't normally act, even if I was acting in a show. And I was kind of wondering about that kind of experience. Or
I don't know. I think you should ask the actors.
We're not
honestly.
so close to the actual cast that play Festen like 3 days ago, but we were really close like to the cast that do it in France. And a guy from the cast had to throw up at a bit. Like at a moment he had to throw up because this
What?
was so strong.
Yeah, what?
Mathieu, quand il a vomi.
Oh, yeah, in a rehearsal. But
Yeah, at
it's
rehearsal,
also...
like, yeah, obviously it was not on stage, but when we were rehearsing this, like he was playing like some strong, dominating men, like patriarchy men, and he's not, as the actor, is not like that at all. So it was like really tough for him to play this, but he did it really, really well. But it was like such like he
was
had
also
to
a
take
bit
it
sick.
from his ribs. Like he was like playing some kind of disgusting me,
No,
So-
honestly, like, in a more general way, it's not... it's really a matter of actors. Like, if I want to do a show that talks about incest, I do it, and I do it with people who want to do it. And then it's about the actors. Like, if you wanted to get in this show, it's your problem. If you, I don't know how to say that, but we shouldn't forbid us to do something because of that.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Obviously, because the main difference between when we did it in France and when we did it like in here is that we had plenty more of times with the cast. So
no, and the cast wanted to do this.
and the cast wanted to do this. So
Yeah, because by the way, we didn't say it yet, but in Amsterdam, we at the end we were not, we couldn't talk about sexual violence. Like the show, we were like not allowed to talk about what we wanted to talk about, which was rape and child
because
abuse.
of the festival policy that we
And because of the cast, because they said like, but we don't know each other and we haven't we have a rehearsal, and they were white. Like, in this kind of situation, it's the cast who decides because they are the one who put themselves in danger.
And in a wise way, because they were not ready to play like such monstrous character about sexual violences. So it was okay for us. Like we can also talk about some really terrific things that happen to people, and it can also work. But at first, the show was speaking much more about rape culture and how we treating the victims and the culprits. That's the show was about. But in fact, we learned a lot ourselves too, because there was such an amazing cast. So we discovered that it could be even stronger, even if we were not talking about like sexual violences. But we had to respect like the cast boundaries. So we had to improv, in fact.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, I think, a testament to really good directing, of being able to quickly adapt to make it so that people felt safe and were able to perform.
Honestly, the first 30 minutes of the rehearsal, you wouldn't wish to be here because it was like such a strong discussion about it. And we were like not even aware that they didn't choose to be on the show.
Yeah.
So it was like such a weird conversation, but also like we were like, the show is about something strong, so we can't turn the show into something like goofy and funny. So yeah, it was really, really hard, even more for Aymeric, because he is the one who created the show.
And I was directing the rehearsal. Like,
Yeah.
So.
Well, how do you, I feel like with impro, at least, almost like 80% of it is making it so that the cast arrives on stage with everyone in a good mental space. And how do you do that emotional management when in France or in Amsterdam of what techniques do you use to keep or to wind it up so that everyone's in this connected, open, emotional state when the show starts?
I think basically it's a lot of hugs. A lot of rehearsal and a lot of hugs. You're talking about a subject that matter.
Yeah.
And this is not you.
No, hugs are just to pretend. I don't know. Hugs are meaningless. It's just about you really trust them and you really transmit them the meaning of what they are doing, and then you trust them and they're gonna do it. I never. When I direct something like that, I don't treat my actors like children, they are full grown-ups who know what they're doing. So I just give them the impulse that they need to do something good.
Yeah.
I do the little pep talk because I love doing pep talks. So it's that's my weakness. So I just grab their shoulders and say, "You're gonna be a great artist tomorrow," stuff like that.
Yeah, it was such a sweet moment before the show, actually, in Amsterdam. Because we had the rehearsal in the morning, and this was just a moment right before the show. So we were like putting our hands in the middle, and we were like, okay, we're gonna destroy the perception of impro.
Yeah, I say that.
Yeah,
and everybody was like, "No!"
Put our hands in the middle, and we were going fuck them all!
Yeah, but that's also a thing with meaning. It's you convince the others that we are not just doing a show, we are doing the fucking show.
And we were so happy.
And when they are following you with that, it's okay.
Yeah, we were so happy about it because this show mean a lot to us. Mm-hmm. So the biggest worry we had is that we were bringing this show to Amsterdam, but the cast wouldn't catch it. And so it would be something really different or something that we could be ashamed of because, we're talking about subjects that are really strong. So if they are not treated well, it could be the opposite message.
Yeah, it was a crazy risk.
Yeah.
For me, it's been years that I want to get international, that I got festival, but as a participant. And for the first time I'm selected, I'm here and I'm yeah, let's talk about incest. And that was just so stupid to do.
Yeah.
But the risk was a big
worth
risk, big risk.
But
big
it was worth it.
Yeah. Big risk, big reward, like we say in French.
Like we say in France. If some people are listening and want to learn some French expression, it's plus la médaille est lourde, plus lourd est le revers.
And what does that mean?
It means if the
you're still terrible in expressions.
If the the médaille, I don't know if I'm saying right, if you have a prize, you have a ribbon and
it's gonna
the
be
medal.
Beautiful.
The medal, yeah. If the medal is heavy, you have a heavy thing to carry.
Yeah.
Which is actually the absolute opposite of what we are trying to say.
But it's not easy to translate things because in French it means you have a big reward, but you also have to carry what it means.
Yeah.
Which is.
Well, are you planning to continue to bring the show to other places now?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah, just like we were saying with the when we said to the cast, let's fucking improv. We came not to do a show. We came to do the fucking best show in the universe, and I think we kind of succeeded. And so we really had like this idea to, we are going to show this thing to the world, and maybe it's gonna work. And it's kind of working. Like some people are asking us. Of course, it's like what happens in festivals. People tell you, "Oh, I want you to come to Afghanistan," and you never see them again, and they never contact you again. But this would be like
you choose Afghanistan, so
yeah. But you know what I mean? Like it's always it always happens in festivals.
But the thing is, like, if people invite us to do Festen, we will always say yes, because the thing about Festen is like it's not just a show; it's a message. So that's why we're trying to spread.
And we're also like planning to do other shows, right?
Also
the next one is gonna be great. I can tell you.
There is a lot to discuss.
Oh yeah, what is the next show after Festen?
I'm not gonna say too much, but it's gonna be about mental health and try to politize mental health, like saying that it's not just a medical issue, but it's a political issue, and that there is a reason why most people in Europe are getting more and more depressed, because they live in a more and more liberal world, not liberal in the English meaning, liberal in the economic meaning, like in the meaning where you don't find jobs and you can't feed yourself and you don't know why you are still alive and what's the point of living. So that's what's gonna be the next topic of the show. We are leftist and Marxist.
Next up is like the mental health.
Oh, which brings me to something that I wanted to say earlier about like the personal reasons to do political stuff. Of course, I think that politics is a collective thing and it's not just about egoist stuff. But I just said it like in a philosophical way, like a meaning of life and what to do, not to be anxious all day. And it's not like, just change your job and do something that matters, because that's not how the world works. But it's more like if 1 hour per week you just do something political and you feel that you are fighting and you are like fighting with others in a collective way, because individual fightings are pointless. Like you can keep your water when you are brushing your teeth. It's not gonna change the world. So if you're fighting,
that's also a French expression.
No, it's not. I just made it up. But,
okay.
Like if you're fighting in a collective way, just a little bit, then maybe you will find a way to do what Camus said, which is like your individuality. When it doesn't match with the world, why not change the world?
You had it.
In a collective way.
So maybe the wise message to think about, but all that we have said and everything is like that you have to group with people that are like you and trying to tatakae. You mean? It's a thing from Attack of Titan.
Which means without struggle, no victory. Like without conflict, without fight, no victory.
And sometimes you have to go out of your bed to go manifesting, you know. So, and also I would say that even if when you have friends, you obviously have friends, but when you have them, take care of them and listen to them, because sometimes they are not saying the thing that they want to say because they don't have the strength to do it. But be cautious about them, because sometimes that's all you have to do, and that's all they need. So
I think we're drinking too much wine and this podcast doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah, but let's build a better world and take care of each other.
Yeah, I have two things out of that. One of them is obviously at the end of your show, the victim is always, they're always eventually, people believe them, and the villain is cast out, right?
Yeah.
And like, what is sort of the importance of that message? But also, this show is playing in a very, it's a very dark way, and it is uplifting of the victim, but do you have any interest in sort of coming at it from the other direction as well? And this, like, I'm thinking of, we just saw Threesome as well last night, which had this very like, kind of warm, like in the healing phase rather than or at a different moment in the healing phase.
Oh, you mean healing by the culprits, you mean?
Yeah, I think that like your show was in the moment in the healing phase is right when the Band-Aid is being ripped off.
Why there is a happy ending?
Both why there is the happy ending and also, that positivity.
How the culprit can improve himself to be like a better person.
First, I wouldn't say that like we just to be understood, we don't send a message of hope with this show. It's a show of protest and it's a show of showing the truth. When I decided to have a happy ending, first, I'm once again doing quotes on happy because even the people who join the victim at the end, maybe they are still just going with the wind and they don't they are still bastards, you know?
Yeah.
If they protected a monster for 20 years and they just decide to change their mind in one meal, maybe they are not that good.
Yeah.
And it was not about giving a good message or anything. It was more about being really understood by the audience and kind of protecting them, making sure that they don't misunderstand the message. For instance, it's really important that the audience understands that the victim is right, because if at the end the victim is blamed for being crazy and is taken to an hospital, maybe the audience will be like, yeah, maybe he was indeed crazy. You know, it's important to say that it was true, and it's important also if, in the audience, you recognize yourself in this character to just feel not like you don't want to kill yourself at the end of the show. You know what I mean? You don't want to just you don't feel too depressed. But it's not a message of hope. I'm not sending a message of hope with this message.
And
with this
because
show.
you were talking about maybe the redeem of the culprit. I think it's a hard topic, you know?
Yeah.
This show, I wanted to get involved in it because it talks to me also. I can't speak for the voices of everyone that saw the show, either in France or in here. But the thing is that most of the time, people who are the culprits, they are the culprits, but they need to build this, to build this domination for years. And most of the time, there are people that can't change at all.
Yeah.
So we're not trying to say, I think if Aymeric agree, but I think we're not on the side of the culprit at all, because it's really hard to change them. And I think if you are someone that is really close to the character that we played as the culprit, it's impossible for you to recognize yourself. So this is not the show for the culprit people, you know?
It's improv. We cannot script the endings, but it's not about culprit's redemption. It's about culprit's punition, sanction. And social sanction, finally getting out of the social circle. Finally, it's the culprit who has to move in another city. It's not the victim, but in most of the case, it's the victim who has to move in another city because no one believes her.
But, if they are culprits, we want to change their mind and apologize to the victims. We are so into that, but...
I wasn't saying to change the culprit. I was saying later in the victim, doing a show just about the victim later in life after. It's interesting about that. You were talking about mental health earlier, that healing process of after people are aware of it. How does, what's the next day after the dinner like?
That's the story to tell, because we are not telling this story, but maybe in a few years.
Yeah,
this would be a story to tell.
But all that I can tell you is that in the movie, at the end, the victim just is happy and he lives, and he's gonna live in Paris with the girl he loves, and he doesn't want to see his family never again, even if at the end they accepted his testimony. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck them all.
And-
even if they at the end like followed him.
And
fuck them
also,
all.
we know that this show is really speaking about to the victims, and this is like such a hard way. If we tell like, yeah, in the end, the culprit, he realized and he did really good things.
Yeah.
It's such a hard way to tell the victims that, oh
And-
yeah, but you have to apologize to this guy. Yeah, no.
And in the same way we can say like the victim should do this or should do that. That's
Yeah.
exactly the problem of rape culture. Like we always expect the victim to act in a certain way, which is never like the real life. In real life,
Also, I'm gonna try and translate a thing, but in France we have like a mantra that said, nobody can be an arsehole every time, like 20 hours on 20 hours. Like, but sometimes even if you're a nice person, you can be an asshole for someone.
Yeah.
So the goal is to never being such an asshole that someone is gonna remember it for his whole life. Like, sometimes you're just doing one thing, but it changed the whole life. And maybe we're gonna talk about like the previous show, like butterfly effect. Yeah, but my mantra is like, do good things to everyone, and so it meant good thing. But the thing is like, what I wanted to say is like, sometimes you can be an asshole. It don't mean that you're an asshole, but sometimes you can be an asshole.
But I'm going back to the victims thing. Is like it's really important with our show to show that the problem of perception of the victims come from the people who don't believe her. And in France, I'm gonna use French statistics, but it's like 10% of the cases of sexual assaults go to police, so it's already few. Only 5% of them go to justice. And when you go to justice, if you go to penal and not civil, like there are different cases, like when you actually go to the end, which is one of the 1%, you have to face a jury. And the jury will always say, the jury is like judging only by what they see, and maybe they don't have proof because it's really hard to prove this kind of thing. But they will always say, yeah, but the victim is like too aggressive. The victim is not crying. The victim doesn't look like a victim.
Even though they don't say it, if you're a pretty girl, they're like, but you were demanding for that.
No, but like it's worse because it's about how justice treats this. So in our show, we want to show that the victim can be aggressive, she can be crying, she can be sad, she can be melancholic, she can be completely dissociative. It's not about that, it's about the facts that happen. And every time in the show, the facts are true. And it's the culprits who use the reaction of the victim to say that it's not true. But whatever the reaction is, you're always gonna be told that you are lying because you shouldn't react like that. Whatever your reaction is, there is no perfect reaction.
Yeah.
Because of the socialized thing, like you shouldn't have react. We are like drinking in fancy glass wine, and so you're doing like something like out of the blue. So we don't want that. So I don't know if it's clear because we are getting a little drunk. You paid us a bottle of wine.
I just wanted to do this small digression about about the victims, because I don't really care about what happens to the culprit after a while. Honestly, I don't.
No, the culprit. I think everyone has a big culprit in his life, in her life.
No,
And
not.
we don't want to like apologize to them because, you know, everyone have childhood traumas about one thing and adolescent traumas and like other traumas, and each is as important as the other. But sometimes you're like, you know, by the time I think if I want to solve this thing, I must like have a conversation with this person, but it never happened. And when it happened, personally, I searched for the people in my life that really did me bad. Even 20 years after, they didn't change at all. So I'm not searching for like the redemption of the people who did me like dirty, you know? So we're not on the side of the culprit. We are on the side of the victim.
I think that was clear.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
I think we
maybe-
forgot to talk about improv for like 1 hour and a
Yeah.
half.
Well, but I think what's fascinating or like what's beautiful about this is that it shows that for you, the important thing that you're trying to convey is the message, and improv is just the medium, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in many ways.
We like improv, you know?
Yeah, we are.
But we are trying to do something meaningful, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, you use my word.
Oh.
Well, this is okay. For the final thing, I just wanted to. We talked about collectivity and collective action. You two are a very funny pair.
Okay.
And it seems like you balance each other really well in different ways. And I was wondering how the collaboration started and works. And
It started with sex.
Okay. I would not say it like that, but, you know. No, in fact, we were in a troupe together of improv, but we started doing our hair together because as it's a podcast, people don't know, but we both have red hair. So we started doing our hair together, and then we started discussing more about things and how we wanted improv to go on and what we wanted to do. And that's how we started. And after we were a couple, so we were like discussing even more.
Yeah, it was like I think at the beginning, like for instance for Festen and the theater we created. First, it was my thing. Then I asked Charlotte to do some stuff, mostly about communication. Like I hired her for communicative and designer.
At
And,
first, I'm really like just amateur comedian and also like a graphic designer.
Yeah, and the fact that like we were together, like people don't see because it's a podcast, but we also have a ring on our left finger.
Yeah. It's a
Uh,
promise ring. It's like not a fiancé thing.
because we
it's
are
like
too
a
poor
promise
for a
ring.
wedding, but
Yeah.
once we are rich, because we are gonna be incredible stars with Festen,
Oh.
we will be able to have a proper wedding. But yeah, so Charlotte slowly was way more than just communication. She helped me in everything that I was doing. So now we have complementary stuff where I think I'm the artistic and administrative worker, and I'm like directing the shows. For instance, like during the rehearsals, it's me who's directing.
Yeah.
And so Charlotte is first. She's always doing the communication because I still cannot draw anything, and I still cannot understand how Instagram works. And she's also like a huge advisor because we also have really different lives, really different perspectives. Like I studied politics for a while, and I'm really more intellectually.
You know, you have to close this podcast. So.
I really don't.
You know, I have like a more intellectual side of things, and Charlotte just tells me, yeah, but you know, this TikTok trend says that, connects me to more real things that Gen Z does.
But even just in this conversation, I could hear the ways in which you balanced each other and were like we're willing to shift opinions, and like I don't know, it was kind of a beautiful thing to hear. And I think that to me, I could feel like a lot. It seemed like that really helped probably to communicate also to the cast of this.
Because
have you both there.
Aymeric is like more able to be socially awkward if he is not prepared to.
I'm good in front of a group, but not in front of a person. I don't know how to explain that.
Yeah, and I'm more like the socially type people, like who can talk to stranger and be super easy about it. And so that's why we work. Like, he's the most cerebral one, or maybe like the most intelligent one.
No.
I don't know. But I am more like the social one. So we go like that, and we discuss a lot about the show. And also, if I can say, like, this show was also very important to us because, you figure it out by now, but he's my boyfriend.
Wow.
And
I am.
It was so important to me that he was caring so much about these topics. Yeah. So that's why I involved so much also, because he gave me the strength. Because even as like someone who had like those subjects in my life, I wouldn't been able to speak out about them. And so he gave me the strength to speak out about them. So that's such a beautiful thing.
That is a beautiful thing.
You're about to cry. Oh, no. It's not like that.
But that still is
I think that the best thing that you can do as a man is making women happy to talk loud about stuff that happened to them and not to you because you're a man.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say that.
But so this was our show. Like, this is how we build it. So I think you got it all. No.
Yeah, I think. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And at the end of the show, I always give you opportunity if you want to. If there's a way for people to find you, or if there's something you want to publicize. I know it's in English, so it might not.
Charlotte, go on.
Okay, so we do have like an Instagram, which is called Théâtre de l'Esquive. So you just go mentions and you like TH. Okay, I'm gonna start again. THEATRE. You make a space. DE space L, the little high dots,
Apostrophe.
ESQYIVE. So this is Théâtre de l'Esquive.
And we are planning to do English shows in our city. Our city is really not English speaking in improv, but that's what we hope to create.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for the wine bottle.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you to have us.
Yeah, this show had a huge impact on my life. Seeing what again, everything that I want to do in my life is make improv that is powerful in this way, and seeing it done so elegantly and so beautifully and upliftingly. Mind-blowing.
I hope the podcast is good because we were like already drunk. So
it's all right. It's all right. For context, we needed a space to record, and there was a wine shop that maybe we should. What is the name of the wine shop?
The Geheimdienst.
Okay, so if you're in the Netherlands, you should come by here and support them because
if you're nearby Zonnehuis.
Yeah, they were the ones who allowed this recording to happen in their space. It was very, very nice of them. All right, without further ado, this has been Muprov Musings.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
I got to show you a picture of myself from like a year or two ago, because I used to have the exact same hair.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is also, it's just like the guy who I do the podcast with is gonna think this is really amusing because it's just like people in France doing like exactly what I was hoping to do with my life, and doing it so well.
Can we do a picture?
Yeah, I would love that.
Oh yeah.
Yay!
Do you have who has the longest arm?
I have the longest arm.
Okay. Oh, maybe we have to just like wait. Are you on a picture? Yeah.
Maybe you should turn around. No, I don't know. I don't know anything about pictures.
No, like when you do this with the like, can you hold just here? Oh.
Can't you see me now? Like you always did. Can't you see me now? I just wanna be with you. But the times they seem so crazy. Can't you see me now? Can't you see me now? See me now? Can't you see me now? Can't you see me now? Can't you see me now? Everything is changing. Can't you see me now? Can't you see me now?